Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's Thursday's been good. This just keeps getting more disturbing and more disturbing and more disturbing. Today, another one today, near Detroit. Kevin Kraft, first message. What's up, man? What's up, Kelt? Oh, Kelt. Thank you, Kelt. I appreciate it. And yes, please like, subscribe, share. Spread this information out, please. This is ridiculous. You found your notes. Yeah, I got a bunch of emails I need to go through as well. I still have to get those. Let me see here. What's up, Kib Kitty? Allison, what's up? Thank you for the email. Phantom, how you doing this evening? Tucson Chem Spill. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's one thing I wasn't able to get today. Before I got on, I got. Thank you, Kib Kitty. I got a couple articles about the other chemical disasters. That's what I'm going to call them. Chemical disasters. And I was not able to get any video, just a couple articles. So if anybody does have any of the videos on Texas, Arizona, I saw Florida in there somewhere, Detroit. If you have any of those videos or any links or information regarding those, please send them to me. The drum part was from a program called Fruity Loops. The drums are synthetic, but it's a real guitar track that's laid on top of each other as the intro progresses. And you're on time. What's up, Cherry Cherry? Pam, good evening. Thank you for hopping in. Nope, no bass. Just regular electric guitar. I hope you have an S. Oh, yeah, coffee. I got me some coffee, too. Yeah, I've been thinking about changing it. I borrowed this keyboard from somebody. I was going to mess with it last weekend, but I was just too sick. I couldn't even get to it. So, I might fool around with it this weekend. We'll see. But Cherry Cherry did say, that's your signature, CJ. Why do you want to change it? And I'm like, okay. But I'm still going to fool around with the keyboard. We'll see. Orlando, Florida. Okay. Thank you for that. You guys are so funny. I left my DNA on the thumb button. Drinking, yeah. No, I am not. It was just nonstop crazy running around since I got home. So I do thank you for the links and the information. It's a couple videos in the email. Okay. I don't know. I'm gonna see what I can do on this keyboard here. I'm gonna fool around a little bit, see what it's a pretty nice one too. It's got all sorts of bells and whistles on it, so I'm sure I can get something. But it's going to be a busy weekend. I got a lot of stuff to do for the channel on Saturday. I got to put new logos for the merch store. We got new logos. I got to introduce those into the items. There's a lot of stuff I got to do. I got to make new intro videos and all sorts of stuff. So I'll be working on the channel a lot on Saturday. The StreamYard mix, I heard it. Yes, the music that is playing right now is a StreamYard music track on here. Usually you get a lot of the titles of Night Driving, Into Space, Daydreaming. Those different, you hear a lot of those. The one that I play, when I started my show, I never heard anybody playing it, and I could see why, because of the name of it. It's called Feeding the Ducks. So I just came across it, and I was like, this sounds like Daft Punk. That little funk beat that they got, you know? So if you know Daft Punk, you know what I mean. You can hear the little funky bass beat in the background. And I was like, I like that. I'm gonna play that. It is funny though. You come across some, like I'll come across a show here and there or something, and I hear a little snippet of it. It just automatically makes me think of my show. So, I mean, it may be. I'm just gonna be honest. It may be StreamYard's track, but I'm sorry. You think of Evil CJ when you hear it. Where you at, Kevin? Yes. Good evening, SRB. Look at all those ducks. Yes, good evening to you, lovely person. And to all the lovely people. Well, Phantom, I thank you for hanging out, even if you pass out. And I feel you. I hope you get that good rest. Yes. Okay, let me check my emails here real quick. Railroad setting it up. Yeah, that's what it seems like. Arizona Chem Spill. Okay. I am going to get into a couple videos, or at least one. And Allison, if you could email me, I would say anytime after 15-20 minutes, I'd be cool. If you want to email me, and if you want to let me know if there's any specific time, or if 20 minutes would be cool or not, if you just want to let me know. 2024, and I fell for it. Dudes, the kids today told me Disney wasn't going to use Mickey Mouse after 2020. Now, you know, the intro always takes a little bit. Gotta say hi to everybody. And yes, I'll go ahead and open up the panel as well. Let me see here. Open panel. I'll put out a link to chat if you'd like to hop up. Hear your opinion, your viewpoint. Yeah, there has been a lot of crazy changes with Disney. All right. Let me see here. I thought this was interesting that an actual reporter was saying this, saying that there will be another East Palestine, obviously, because it just happened today, and says rail companies don't care. So I really want to hear what this reporter from News Nation has to say on it. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this guy up. And we're going to click on it. Vidert. I can't remember. I know his face. I just don't know how to say his name. Get this music turned down.
Welcome to the fairest show in television. First tonight, the East Palestine train disaster will happen again.
Oh, come
and
on.
Again
Work
and
YouTube.
again. It brings us no pleasure, of course, to report that, but it will happen, despite what all the politicians say and despite what the railroad says. All the video of dead fish in the streams which of course is leading to major questions about the drinking water that exists today. Senator from Ohio wouldn't answer whether he would drink the water in East Palestine today. All the video of hazmat crews walking around like Palestine is Chernobyl. Never mind, the same hazmat crews now tell everybody to go back home because they and their hazmat suits are leaving and everything is allegedly safe. Sadly, there will be another East Palestine. Exhibit 1, the railroad responsible for the crash, Norfolk Southern, didn't even show up at last night's town hall filled with angry residents. Nothing quite says you don't care, like contaminating an entire town with cancer-causing chemicals and then not showing up.
Don't even
Exhibit
have one
2,
person showing up.
This has happened before, many times before, and nothing changes. 2017, a 121 car Norfolk Southern train, Hell City hazardous material release there. 2020, a 30-car Norfolk Southern train with 78 hazmat cars derailed Rocky Gap, West Virginia. 3 of the hazmat cars were damaged.
Another Norfolk
the company
Southern.
chalked it up to the rail cars not being put in the proper order. Most notably, in 2005, a Norfolk Southern train derailment in Granville, South Carolina, left 9 dead and 550 hospitalized. The railroad paid a $35 million worth of expenses and a $4 million fine. That combined $39 million represents less than 4% of their 2005 profit. In other words, the railroad simply doesn't care because they don't have to. Derailments and chemical spills are the cost of doing business. In fact, another Norfolk Southern train just derailed today in Detroit, and yes, it was carrying hazardous materials.
Look at this.
They don't care. And if a few families in East...
And what's up with all these derailments? Is there somebody playing pranks on our rail system? Like, this is crazy. Especially recently. All of these chemical disasters, whether it's from a semi, a train. I mean, I saw a video yesterday, and trust me, I got some videos for you guys today if you want to see the frickin' water and what it looks like. What is it with all these derailments? How? It just does not make sense. It makes you wonder, is there something else going on? Right, Pam? Like, is there... Did these balloons do something? That's another thing. Did these balloons floating over the country? Think about it. Did these balloons do something? Because there's these hot boxes. Did it do something electrically or something that all of a sudden there's going to be malfunctions all over the place, and that's why these freaking derailments are happening? I don't know. Something don't make sense. Something just does not make sense. I don't know. This is a great video. I'm going to put the link to this video in chat. A lot of good information. I'm going to go back to the beginning when he starts. Look at this. How many of these are Norfolk Southern?
But 2, this has happened before, many times before, and nothing changes. 2017, a 121-car Norfolk Southern train derailed in Pell City, Alabama. There was another hazardous material release there. 2020, a 230-car Norfolk Southern train with 78 hazmat cars derailed in Rocky Gap, West Virginia. 3 of the hazmat cars were damaged. The company chalked it up to the rail car.
And another thing I want to bring up, what about all these? I mean, think about this too, guys. All of these close calls at these airports. How many of those have there been recently? Close calls of another plane taking off and another plane coming in to land on the same damn runway, and they're just barely missing each other. Or planes running into the little go-kart thingies out there. Or near misses on the run. Like, I don't know. This shit is just nuts. I, eh, yeah, I don't know.
Cars not being put in the proper order.
What do you say?
Most notably in 2005, a Norfolk Southern train derailment in Grantville, South Carolina, left 9 dead and 550 hospitalized. The railroad paid a $35 million worth of expenses and a $4 million fine. That combined $39 million represents less than 4% of their 2005 profit. In other words, the railroad simply doesn't care because they don't have to. Derailments and chemical spills are the cost of doing business. In fact, another Norfolk Southern train just derailed today in Detroit, and yes, it was carrying hazardous materials. They don't care. And if a few families in East Palestine or Detroit get sick, it's unfortunate, but it is not worth, in a dollars and cents term, changing how they, the railroads, it's not just Norfolk Southern, how they, the railroads, do business. If a few families are sick, well,
That's basically what he's saying, right?
But we have factored that cost in to our balance sheet.
To the budget. They've already factored in lawsuits to the budget. It's just like he said, it's a cost of doing business. Casualties of war. But these are people's lives. So how can you put a price on somebody's life? And that's basically what they're doing. They're putting prices on all of our heads. And their profits outweigh the prices they put on our heads. So it's just a cost of doing business. It totally makes sense with the way that everything's been going on. You know, in Cherry, you bring a good point up. If we started looking into all of them, I'm sure we would find a lot of incidents over the years. But what doesn't make sense to me is how come we've had social media around for a long time. So why all of a sudden now, if that's the case? The one in Detroit was today. Just watch the beginning of Fight Club. Huh? Decide when to do a record. Oh, man.
Effectively into our income. Ray Walker from last night's show, one of Norfolk Southern's train cars is currently in her backyard.
We don't feel safe here. I have 2 babies here, and I worry about their health. With us being exposed to the toxins and the chemicals, I don't think we're safe.
Whatever Norfolk Southern pays Ray and other folks in East Palestine, it won't matter much to Norfolk Southern or their shareholders. One Wall Street analyst estimates a total cost of $50 million. That is 1.5% of their 2022 profit. A penny and a half on a dollar. To be fair, America's economy runs on the rails, literally, from crude oil to coal, cars to Chinese imports, grain for cereal to the milk that goes on top of the cereal. So we need the railroads. But they make money by lobbying the safety regulators for laxer safety regulations. More rail cars per train. The one that derailed had 100.
Right, not having to, notify.
51 cars. And despite carrying vinyl chloride, the tanker cars didn't have to have double walls. Those cost more, but they don't leak after a derailment. Put it a different way. Until these crashes, and more importantly, the ensuing misery of towns like East Palestine, cost the railroads more than 1.5% of their profits, the crashes will keep happening. The railroads will not show up to the town halls.
1.5%.
Kids will keep getting sick from the hazardous chemicals. The EPA will tell everybody just go home because all their testing says everything's fine. The media will eventually leave town and move on to another story.
Nope.
Family farms will close because soil contamination. And in a few years or perhaps decades, we will start hearing about cancer clusters in these towns. And the railroads will keep making billions perhaps tens of billions of dollars a year. Renee Rocha is now with us, attorney with Morgan & Morgan, who just filed suit against Norfolk Southern. It's good to see you. We appreciate it. The only people perhaps more cynical than journalists are lawyers. I say that affectionately. Did I get anything wrong?
No, I couldn't have said it much better myself. I think you hit the nail on the head. Unfortunately, everything that this company has done is screaming loud and clear that they do not care about these people. They don't care about the towns that they run through. They don't care if they derail a car. They just flipped another one today.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find new.
The judge has gotten some criticism, some of it from Democrats and Republicans. So does the president, is he satisfied with the government's response to this derailment? And is he, does he have confidence in continue
Yes, absolutely. I can answer that very quickly and very with confidence from here that we do have absolute confidence in Mayor Pete. And I always say that, Secretary Buttigieg.
When the White House press corps asks if a cabinet secretary has the president's confidence, it is a very bad day for the cabinet secretary. And Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg has had a lot of bad days lately. He's over the FAA, and we've had 3 near crashes of major U.S. airlines in about 2 months, not to mention the Southwest Airlines meltdown over Christmas. Before that, the summer of misery when American and JetBlue didn't have enough pilots. Now comes the Norfolk Southern disaster. Even some Democrats have had enough. Here's John Garamendi, congressman from California.
My message to Secretary Buttigieg is kick some ass in your department. Get these regulations done.
But let's be fair. Mayor Pete didn't sign up for these problems. Remember, the big knock against him as mayor of South Bend when he was running for president centered around potholes that he couldn't get fixed. That was his mayor. He ran for president and everybody loved him. He was the generational change candidate. In fact, Democrats loved him so much they thought he would replace President Biden in 2024. Having that kind of competition is something a president just can't have. So what did Mr. Biden do? Transportation secretary. One of the more boring jobs in government is evidenced by the people who had it before. As you can see, none of those are household names. There, Pete could stay in political purgatory and he could represent the administration on all the TV networks. That's normally the vice president's job. But Pete's way more likable than Kamala Harris. And since he was part of the administration, he couldn't raise money for a 2020 primary challenge, 2024 primary challenge. But never underestimate the political acumen of Mr. Biden. He lasted 40 years in the Senate because he knows hardball. And this worked out better than he thought. People are talking now about Pete Buttigieg, but not as a potential 2024 challenger. Trish Regan's here, host of the Trish Regan podcast, one of America's premier business journalists. I don't know. You kind of have to hand it to President Biden on this one.
Taking out the competition.
Yeah.
Making him the transportation secretary. That's a
It's a new one.
point. What's that?
I said it's a new one.
Yeah. Listen, I still think that Biden should be a little worried. I mean, the reality is no one wants Joe Biden to run again. Like no one, not even anyone in the Democrat Party. I mean, maybe his wife, maybe his kids, but most people really don't want him to run again. And then I think that's because they fear that they would lose. So then you start trying to cast a wider net. And what you got, Leland? I mean, Kamala Harris, unfortunately for Kamala Harris, she may be just a Hillary Clinton 2.0 or worse, because I think whatever you want to think about Hillary, and she certainly had a lot of qualities that people found very unlikable, she was still viewed as competent enough.
No,
Kamala Harris
I get
doesn't
that.
even have the competency box checked. So you start going down the list. Who have you got? Gavin Newsom. California's a disaster. Everybody's leaving. The tax revenue is bleeding. They're trying to come up with some rules so that you can't ever leave. It'll be, what is the song? Hotel California. They'll tax you forever wherever you go. So that's a disaster. So you're left with Mayor Pete, who's got
Not anymore. I got 45 seconds. We ran long because of the train disaster. Real quick, do you think it's fair to blame him for all of these transport problems, or is it you got to blame President Biden because Mayor Pete works for him, and what Mayor Pete thought he was going to be talking about was racist roads?
well, if I'm Biden, I want people to blame Pete, right? Like that's the goal. That's entirely the goal. And just like on the border, I want people to blame Kamala Harris. I don't want him to take any blame. Yes, he's got to take a certain amount of responsibility. So does the press. The reality is these jobs are hard. Right? They're really, really hard. And there's a ton of responsibility on your shoulders. And sometimes I question, because a lot of people get into politics because they want the sort of prestige of it or the star power of it. I think Mayor Pete has very big political aspirations. He would love to be president one day. That's fine. I admire the goal, but let's do the job at hand. And right now, Transportation Secretary is actually a pretty big deal. And by the way, he's got $1.2 trillion that they passed to spend on infrastructure. So what's going on?
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find news.
East Philly has become the home of the forgotten men and women of this country. A community that was pretty much just nuked with 500 tons of chemicals is being forced to live in the middle of a potentially cancer-clustering mushroom cloud. These people were just lives. They didn't want it. They didn't even cause it. This happened because of a rail company who put themselves above a small company in Ohio. When they lit their train on fire after letting it fly off the rails with 500 tons of hazardous chemicals inside, and then just told these people to deal with it. So Primetime sent Summer, our producer, out to see how they're dealing with it.
How has this chemical contamination impacted your life?
It's been absolutely terrible. It's uprooted me and my 6 children.
It's making me move out of my house. People don't know we're safe to drink the water. They're saying yes, but then we got fish kills everywhere.
I worry because I have a well.
I
so
got
worry
video,
in 6
just
months,
wait.
You know what could happen to my water.
What have you noticed about the environment since this has happened?
It's dirty. There's a lot of dust flying around.
That creek is dead. There's not a fish in there. There's not a newt. There's not a salamander. There's no frogs, dead snakes.
I don't know where the birds all went, but we don't see any birds in our place.
Do you feel safe?
No, I don't.
No, I don't feel safe. You know, I think I would be a fool to say that I felt safe right now.
My throat's been burning. I've had a horrible cough, sneeze, congestion. My eyes have burned. It's scary, you know?
I vomit within 10 minutes of being in that home.
What about the lady that's going to have babies? Is the baby infected? Are they going to come out deformed?
I went through there Sunday and I thought I was going to die. And I'm curious of what I sucked in. Is it going to kill me? I'm scared. I am. I'm freaking scared.
What is your message to the people in?
Oh, please bring us help. Please, don't. Yeah, my biggest fear is that this will be a forgotten town.
We're a small community. Yeah, we're country people, but we care. We all care. This is home. This has been home for people for years. And I mean, we want answers.
So what's happening here isn't normal. And you'd think people rushing to help them. But instead, the mayor of the town is being forced to beg.
I need help. I'm not ready for this. I wasn't built for this. I have the village on my back, and I'll do whatever it takes to make this right. I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere. This is my town. I'm not going to sell my house. I'm not going to move my kids out of the school. I'm here to stay, and they're going to make it right, and that's it. They screwed up our town. They're going to fix it. If they don't, I'll be the first one calling all you back to do this all over again.
Good for him. These people got screwed over. And now the rail company responsible for all this, Norfolk Southern, is hiding from them.
Good for
like
staying in contamination.
Last night, they were a no-show at the local town hall. They skipped out on the only chance these people had at getting some real answers. Why? Well, Norfolk Southern says they were scared.
Norfolk Southern was a no-show. What is the message to the community on that? What's your reaction?
Well, I'm hoping this isn't what it's going to be like in the future. I hope Alan Shaw has made a commitment to me that he's going to stay in our community, and I'm going to hold him to it. If he doesn't, then I'm going to have to use the bully pulpit and get results.
What was the last communication with them when they said
I just talked to him this afternoon. So.
And he just said we're not showing up?
He said that they didn't feel safe coming here, and that's what they felt.
So how about the people of East Palestine? Aren't they scared? Do they feel safe? Isn't it scary to wake up one morning and see your kids getting rashes? You don't think these people are wondering why they keep getting hit with migraines? So the slimy rail company and their CEO, Alan Shaw, are just worried about themselves. They're not worried about giving answers to a town they just nuked. They never even cared about the little guy in the first place. Just 2 days before the crash, the same derailed train broke down. Did that keep Shaw from sending his train out with barrels of chemicals?
Wow.
Knowing the train was also going to be riding on rickety brakes?
Wow.
Shaw gave the green light for the train to keep riding on. Now, after he set fire to 500 tons of spilled chemicals, he won't answer any hard questions.
Wow.
The only time Norfolk Southern shows their faces in the town is to goose residents into signing legal waivers.
Wow.
They waived the paycheck for $1,000 in their face, told them, "You're welcome. Oh, and by the way, you're on your own now." And $1,000 is chump change. We give illegal aliens $1,000 a day in New York. And believe it or not, Norfolk Southern did the same thing back in 2005 when another one of their trains crashed and spilled chemicals all over a small town in South Carolina. Norfolk Southern showed up with the same waivers, and unfortunately, some of the residents were fooled into signing them. And years later, when they got sick, Norfolk Southern wouldn't take their calls. These guys have a history of screwing over the little guy. They get away with it because they line the pockets of every politician in Washington. Now, the CEO, Alan Shaw, hangs out with Mayor Pete. Look at him. No wonder Pete's not getting anywhere near Palestine. No wonder Pete's downplaying this train wreck.
Look, rail safety is something that has evolved a lot over the years, but there's clearly more that needs to be done because while this horrible situation has gotten a particularly high amount of attention, there are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing.
Guys, trains fly off the rails all the time. I'm just the Secretary of Transportation. What do you want me to do about it? So Pete's doing PR for Norfolk Southern and his rail tycoon buddy, Alan Shaw. But the residents of East Palestine are too smart to buy into what they're saying.
How has Norfolk Southern handled their disaster?
I think absolutely terrible. I was told to evacuate my home. They told me they were going to do an air quality test. Never got a call back. 3 times, 3 different agents from that number said they were coming to do an air quality test.
I don't think Norfolk
From their
is
company.
owning up to what happened.
Probably about 10 minutes after the evacuation was lifted, the first train went through. And so it was just kind of a slap in the face. We felt that all they were worried about was getting the trains running.
Wow,
I
10
think they
minutes
handled
after.
it really piss poor, really. I mean, I feel like they're just trying to hush people now with all that $1,000 inconvenience.
They better start getting the tablet out because they're going to be responsible for a lot. I hope that they are held to be responsible for a tremendous amount. We don't know what's going to be down the road.
And so these people are fed up, as they should be. Not showing up is bad, but showing up just to lie to these people's faces is even worse. And that's exactly what the Ohio EPA did last night. And they showed up to the town hall just to lie to everybody. Luckily, Primetime caught them in the act.
Would you drink the water here?
Yes.
You would? Why?
I'm drinking it right now because it's been tested and we have all the results back today. We've tested it for all the potential contaminants.
You guys personally did testing?
We worked with the contractor, but the county health department personally did testing as well.
Then why are the fish dying in the creeks?
We're talking about the drinking water. The drinking water is groundwater from a system about a mile away.
So you're not concerned about the creek water possibly leaking into the groundwater? There's no cross-contamination
We are
issue?
evaluating we're getting more data on the streams. We are testing.
If like a child were to go and play in the creek, do you think that would be a harmful issue for them?
Until we have more information about what is in the streams, I wouldn't recommend people play in the creek.
So the water's safe to drink, but it's not safe to swim in. How safe is this water anyway?
Well, let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this in the camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting.
So that's not leaking soil? That's not getting into well water? The EPA isn't even testing. The EPA hasn't done a single test. The EPA is letting Norfolk Southern hire an in-house contractor, Ringer, to do all their testing. The same company who said the Gulf of Mexico was totally clean after BP dumped oil into it. Same company said the water was fine after Katrina triggered an oil spill in 2005. Same company said when a city in Tennessee was covered in toxic coal ash in 2008,
What a great video.
go outside and inhale the fresh air. And now they're telling the people of East Palestine to drink the water.
Here's a link
You'll
to
like
this
it,
video as
especially
well.
if you like the taste of vinyl chloride.
What a great video.
How is anyone in this town supposed to trust these people when they keep being lied to, when people don't show up to take their questions, when the president of the United States tells a small town engulfed in a chemical smoke that they don't qualify for FEMA aid? That's what Biden said. East Palestine is being treated like they don't matter.
Exactly.
So when is that going to stop?
Exactly. And then any of these other communities. Yeah, when is that going to stop? What a great video. Tons of information in there. I want to see them feel exactly, Kevin. Yeah, if it's so damn safe. Go ahead and drink it yourself. Right. Oh, you guys want to see what the water looks like? Yeah, just wait till we scroll through here. Here's one video.
Wow.
Look at all that.
Look at it.
It's all in the bottom of the creek bed.
Yeah. Nothing wrong, folks. No one cares. Move right along. Everything is safe. And then, you know, we get an email a couple days ago about somebody that lives in that area that went ahead and tested the water themselves. Thank you, Allison, again for this. This is the more disturbing part.
Now look at it. But they burned all the chemicals off of there, right?
That's what I heard, yeah.
Maybe off the top.
What's up? I'm here in East Palestine, Ohio, here with and it's Tom Murphy, Ted Murphy, Mr. Murphy here. And what's your experience been like with this entire situation over the past couple weeks?
Horrific. I'm evacuated out of my house before they pulled the evacuation because my 80-year-old mom lives with me. My house was engulfed in fumes. So I got her out, packed some clothes, and then Sunday I come back to get her insulin because we didn't grab her insulin. She needs it.
This past
Diabetic.
Sunday?
Yeah, no, Sunday before the implosion.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when I left to go back over, the fumes in town were nothing like they were on 170 coming out of that creek. I inhaled that air, and I thought I was going to freaking die. I
Wow.
thought I was going to die. I almost wrecked my damn truck. The road looked like a wet ribbon.
Wow. Hold on a
Whoa.
minute.
Tell me
What?
I didn't suck something in there. Was it shit in that creek?
What?
And did you have
Explosion.
Oh, okay, okay.
And then Sunday I come back to get her insulin because we didn't grab her insulin. She needs it.
This past
Diabetic.
Sunday?
Yeah, no, Sunday before the implosion.
Oh, okay, okay.
And when I left to go back over, the fumes in town were nothing like they were on 170 coming out of that creek. I inhaled that air, and I thought I was going to freaking die. I
Wow.
thought I was going to die. I almost wrecked my damn truck. The road looked like a wet ribbon.
Whoa.
You tell me I didn't suck something in there. Was it shit in that creek?
And did you have to go to the hospital? Or
I went to the hospital a week later.
Oh, wow.
And I'm so stressed out about it that when I went into the hospital, as soon as they put a cuff on me to check my blood pressure, I had 3 doctors standing there, and they took me back and put an EKG on me and had a shocker sitting there ready because they thought I was going to have a damn heart attack.
Wow.
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 Sorry about that.
It's got me stressed.
Yeah.
I'm not moving back into my house. I just got done doing all that work to the outside of it. It's 3 big city lots. I got a big ass yard. I got a bad ass yard.
And now you can't use it.
Now I'm leaving it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hopefully
That's
my
so
landlord's
sad.
good about everything because I'm renting it.
Wow. Wow.
I just bought all new appliances, new furniture, new beds. I made my mom a brand new home. Now I got to leave.
Yeah.
Right, you know, it ain't right.
And
We
it-
just want honest answers.
Yes.
The creek is dead. There's no doubt about it. You go step on rocks now, and there's oil that comes up out around the rocks.
Oh
Dead
my
newts,
gosh.
dead
Oh my
lizards,
gosh.
dead salamanders, dead fish, dead snakes, dead frogs, everything in that creek is dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
And we saw the quality of it. Oh my gosh. If you guys want to see any of these, you can just go to my Twitter, Evil CJ. Just go ahead and follow me. I do retweet these. These are so important. These are so important. I'm going to switch to another one. This is somebody that is talking to Congressman Bill Johnson, asking about federal response and asking where Governor DeWine is at this town hall meeting here. We're going to switch to this here real quick. 1 second.
Here is the federal response. Here is FEMA. The EPA is right over here. You're a congressman. You're in Washington. You can't use FEMA. Can't you? FEMA's not supposed to be here yet. This is not a tornado. It is not a hurricane. When Flint, Michigan found lead in the water, they called FEMA. My responsibility here tonight is to address questions. There is a process. If FEMA needs to be involved, they will get involved. Who makes that call? The governor has to declare a state of emergency. Why hasn't he? Why the governor? Ask the governor. He's in your report. This is not I'm not going to politicize this.
Thank you.
Well, I think it's political because the railroad company that had the accident gives your party millions of dollars. I think it's very political. We're not going to have a political discussion. Oh, everything is political. The lack of a federal response here is political, sir. Where's get a highway patrol. We are your highway
Get
patrol.
the highway patrol.
What is this about? I want to talk to the residents. I'm just speaking to you. No, you're not. You're yelling. So what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? I'm not kidding. I can't have a conversation with you. What's wrong with you? What the hell's wrong with you? Why are you being so aggressive? You're sucking air through your teeth. You're getting in my face. Why? I'm just asking the congressman a question. He's telling me, don't talk to me about it. He's a congressman. You got bullshit? U.S. Congressman.
Come on, we just saw this News Nation reporter get arrested. Why? Come on now.
Yeah, this
He,
is
he was not doing anything wrong. He was not yelling. He was not getting in his face. He's scared.
this is the response you're gonna get.
I know that. I live
This
in
is the response
town.
you get from these people.
This is like, I thought it was
The
supposed to
police
be a
come,
forum.
he tells me not to talk to him about politics. Not to talk about politics. The U.S. Congressman. You believe this?
No, I'm a taxpayer. I'm a working class taxpayer.
He's not here. It's not a DNR matter. It's a personal matter for people that are affected here.
Wow. What the hell? This is crazy. This is way deeper than what we thought at the, with the press conference. It's like, oh, they're just downplaying. This is way fucking deeper. This is so sickening. It's disturbing. It's ridiculous. It's uncalled for. And look at this, everybody. I want to share this. You can find all these on my Twitter. Look at this. Just a couple days after. Like the lady said, what, 10 minutes after they lifted, 10 minutes after they lifted the order, the first train was rolling through. Look at this. All of the old fucking train cars that were on fire are just tossed off to the side now, and it's a new railway up there so they can just keep that shit pumping. That's all they care about. That's what they're saying. Right here. Oh, right here. As long as pipelines and railroads can have minimal delays in their operations, they will choose to make billions in profit and pay out a few $100 million for damages. Exactly, Phantom. This is ridiculous. Yeah, and then they wanted the patrol. Exactly. And it makes you wonder, like, now, when you're driving on the road and you're driving next to a fucking tanker semi, that, them nice, beautiful chrome trailers that they have, they're so neat looking. All that chrome, shiny. And then all of a sudden, somebody from behind them comes and slams into it, and then you got shit leaking all over you, and you don't even know what the fuck it is. I mean, it's just so scary to think about, like, where are these things being transported? What? Why were they not using, because they cost more, the double walls? If they prevent leaks in a derailment, why is that not mandatory? Why are double walls not mandatory? If they make all these billions in profit, so what if they cost a little more? It's called cost of business. It's called, well, if you're going to transport those kind of chemicals in the first place, well, then you got to pay a little bit more because you're going to make a lot more. It should be mandatory, and I don't know why it's not. I really don't understand it. It makes no sense. Like, I know everybody in freaking politics has a family member. You know what I mean? Like everyone in politics has a family member. And you're saying it's okay if this chemical doesn't have to have a double wall, even if it derails right next to my family member's home. It's cool. I just don't understand how there's one fucking person that can say it's totally cool to transport these fucking chemicals without having double walls. Everybody has a family member, and you're going to tell me that that person and that person and that person and that person said, you know what, my family member's health is not as important as the fucking dollar bill. I just don't understand that. What kind of world exists if that's how much the people that lead this country care about their family members? Because if you don't care that much about your family, then you sure as hell don't care that much about me or anybody else in this fucking chat. I'm sorry. Oh my lord, look at it. We need politicians to be heavy-handed in the regulation of hazardous material transportation. Why not? Profits and stock buybacks cannot come before our health and safety. We brought up the Detroit, Michigan, and I got this link from Phantom. This is a flyover, the one in Detroit. I apologize. It's just ridiculous. Like, I don't understand how any one person leading this country can say that their family's health, like, it's a double fucking wall. You make so much in profit. You're gonna tell me that them double fucking walls, like, listen, I'm sure you're making a hell of a lot more money transporting those chemicals, so why wouldn't you be able to afford? I just, the whole cutting costs thing. That's like, you know, you go to your employer and they tell you that the machine that you're working on is okay, and then the next thing you know, you're doing something and you get fucking electrocuted. Oh, it's okay. We'd rather just tell you it's okay and not work on it, cutting costs. But you know what? If you, get sent to the fucking hospital because you got electrocuted, well, eh, what the Exactly, they can afford it. This is so ridiculous. Oh, I didn't see that, Coat. Has a case all the way up to the Supreme Court right now. Let me see if I got that email from Allison. I did. This is rainwater test. Whoa. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. Let's see, do I need to zoom in some more? Oh, I can't. In good light for most accurate results. Whoa. This is crazy. The recommended range of drinking water is outlined in the color chart. Look at that fluoride. Look at that fluoride. Chlorine dioxide. Look at this, you guys. Look at that chlorine dioxide. In between here. And 0. Wow. I sent you that right before the show started. Okay, give me a second here. Let's see. I'm going to go to another video here. Growing health concerns. Now, this is a News Nation video where it says, how common is it for trains to carry toxic materials? I'm curious how common it is. Oh, gosh.
All right, it has been nearly 2 weeks since the Norfolk train carrying hazardous materials derailed in Ohio. The evacuation order has now been lifted for a week, but some, rightfully so, are not comfortable going home, and you really just cannot blame them. Complaints of headaches and nausea. At least 3,500 fish have been killed, and reports of other animals dying really have a community up in arms tonight.
What's up, Josie?
The people want answers. I want answers. We're going to put everybody up here. No, Norfolk Southern didn't show up. They didn't feel it was safe.
Look at that. I mean, that was all the people tonight in a gymnasium just wanting answers, and no one from the railroad would even show up because of safety concerns. Crazy. In this instance, we know a February 10th letter from the EPA to Southern said a number of highly toxic and dangerous chemicals were on the train. So how common is this? Well, according to the Association of American Railroads, moved 2.2 million of chemicals in 2021. This is in part because railroads are considered the safest mode of transportation to move these kinds of materials. So is that true, or is there more to it? Apparently there's more to it, because look at this. Look what happened here. Joining me now, David Masur. He is the executive director of Penn Environment and Penn Environment Research and Policy Center. David, thanks for being with me. I mean, you're the expert on this. Just as like a normal guy watching all of this unfold, hearing that these dangerous chemicals were moved right through this community. I mean, you've seen the video. The houses were so close to the train tracks, and then to find out there was this issue with the train, I mean, it's just infuriating.
Absolutely. And, you know, the sad reality is that in the U.S., we have on average 1,700 train derailments every year. Some of them end up to be these near catastrophic explosions or accidents.
Wow.
And every day, unbeknownst to most Americans, trains are rumbling through their neighborhoods and communities carrying these very volatile, explosive, and dangerous substances. So this is a real risk, not just to the residents of East Palestine, Ohio, as we've seen, but to communities all over the nation, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's interesting. The governor of Ohio at a press conference said that the
What?
train was not categorized as high hazard. And you look at this graph here. If you
And I'll leave this graph up for a second. Yeah, that was a rainwater test count. And that's fine if that was just cut and paste. That's a lot of good information right there. I don't care if it's cut and paste. I did not know that. Oh my gosh. Wow. Yes. Isn't that odd? Yeah. That shit's crazy. U.S. rail originated carloads of chemicals from 2021. %. Listen to this. All the other ones are very minimal. 7 to 12. Look at this though. Industrial organic chemicals such as ethanol, urea, and liquid methanol, 26%. Plastic materials and resins such as polyethylene, polypropylene, polyvinyl chloride, etc., 22%. Other 19%, 7% is fertilizers, 7% miscellaneous industrial inorganic chemicals such as sulfuric acid, anhydrous, ammonia, hydrochloric acid, etc. 2% industrial gases such as vinyl chloride, liquefied carbon dioxide, etc. 2%. And then 12% sodium, potassium, and other inorganic chemicals such as potassium chloride, soda ash, caustic soda, chlorine, etc. The source is the AAR Freight Commodity Statistics. Or, up here, Association of American Railroads. So they're basically saying they only carry these chemicals that we've been talking about, 2%. And these are the ones that always are leaving these kind of effects. So, yeah, so it's like smoking at Newport next to a gas pump. Oh my gosh, don't time out. No. Or block. Come on, get off that. Oh my gosh, I almost did it again. This stupid StreamYard is so buggy. I go to highlight a comment and then it brings up block. No. What's up, bro? And if you have as much to the eyes and respiratory, they should be trying to mask if they can't leave. Yeah. Something. You got something. And they're all... These people don't know. They don't even know what, and there's nobody there to help them. There's nobody there to help them through this. They're all out there on their own. They don't know. Hell, we're the ones that were looking up Google stuff. Yeah.
If you'd go online, again, just as a normal citizen trying to find what chemicals are transported by railroads, it's hard to come by. The chart says there's a whole other category of other for 19%. It just seems like if these trains are going to be moving through our communities, shouldn't it be
like that guy's, I'm staying here, I'm keeping my kids in here. I'm like, bro, I get your passion. You know what I'm saying? I get your heart. I get it. I really do. But come on. Get the fuck out of there.
easier to find out what they're transporting? And shouldn't the states be made aware if there's dangerous chemicals on the trains?
Absolutely. And there are a number of reasons why this occurs that are problematic. Number one is that if trains are carrying other cargo that is not dangerous, then they don't have to classify as hazardous. So in this case, the train was also carrying wheat, plastic pellets, lube oil, which certainly when you have a fire like this are not safe, but aren't considered hazardous at the core. And so that allowed a train like this to not have to categorize itself or report as carrying hazardous substance, even though it was carrying a significant amount of varying toxic and explosive substances, which is one big problem. And then the second you mentioned is we have no...
Yeah, and that's their common practice. Show up, bamboozle the people that are desperate, and then when shit starts to show up and they're going, hey, you signed this paper. What do you want us to do? We already came up with an agreement. Take advantage of it. Double walls, right? And then if you have a derailment, it's okay. Not 100% of the time, but damn near.
Requirements or rules, regulations at the federal level or the state level that require these freight companies to report what they are transporting through our communities. And that's a huge problem. It's not just a huge problem.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you got to feel for the people.
I don't know. This is weird shit. We just, every night, it's just more weird shit. And we know where, I mean, hell, Allison told us who owns that company. God,
Who live there. You've now got the federal government and the state government telling them essentially that everything is okay, that the tests are coming back clean. Just in 30 seconds, we only have 30 seconds left. I mean, what do you say to the people who live there? Should they trust that the water and air is clean? Or, I mean, we've seen the government this up big time before.
Sure. I think they should be very concerned, in all honesty. We know that people are having health effects and symptoms that correlate with chemicals released and burned. We've seen environmental harm, species and animal wildlife that have died. And certainly there's distrust because the agencies that are supposed to protect us probably sent those residents back to East Palestine too early before it was safe.
Duh.
Yeah, and I spoke to a couple of residents today who said they're going to start doing their own testing, bring companies in on their own. It's a mess there. David, thank you so much for coming on. We'll have you back as this.
I hope.
They run and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. What I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this on camera, but watch this.
Whoa!
You see that chemical pop out of the creek.
Whoa!
This is disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We've got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Thank you.
Holy fucking shit.
Hey guys, so I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead worms and dead fish all throughout this water. Something I just discovered is that if you scrape the creek bed, it's like chemical is coming out of the ground. Can you come here? And let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this on the camera, but watch.
Okay, you can see the water right now.
This. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting. You're going to see this on the camera, but watch this. Just see that
chemical pop out of the creek. This is disgusting.
Oh my gosh, it just like pours out of the fucking scrape. Can I slow this down? No.
You come here and let me just show this to people. I don't know if you're going to see this on camera, but watch this.
So the scrape already started at the top and you don't even see nothing coming out. How long does it take? Like a second before it starts pouring out of the fucking soil?
See this on camera, but watch this. Just see that chemical pop out of the creek. This is
Oh my god, yellow, green, blue, purple.
disgusting. And the fact that we have not cleaned up the train crash, the fact that these chemicals are still seeping in the ground is an insult to the people who live in East Palestine. Do not forget these people. We got to keep applying pressure. That's how we're going to fix this problem. Hey guys, I'm here at Leslie Run, and there's dead.
Oh, let me get to that link Kelt was talking about. Sorry about that, Kelt. Holy crap. That's fucking nuts. You know, we saw the lady throw the rock in the water and you know, all of those chemicals just. And she was like, "Yeah, it's in the bed of the river." And I was like, "Well, that's weird." But then this dude just takes a fucking stick and then all of a sudden, that shit ain't floating. It was in the fucking soil under the water. The ramp up to the Civil War, huh? Well, it burns up at... Yeah, that's what they said. It burns at 8 degrees, and it's a heavy chemical, so it's drawn to deep soil. Yeah. I just... Man. Like, that's deep. That's fucking deep. The dude fucking... And then it went... It didn't just come out as soon as he scraped it. He went... Yeah, I don't think it can. How? Like, how? I've seen some shit on YouTube, people calling it Ohio Chernobyl. Yeah, that's something that nature naturally... It was more like parts. Well, at least here's the title, and here, I'll throw the link to this in the chat if you guys would like to take a read, if it's a lot. Yes, they do. That they do. And you know what? They have a lot of Amish there, too. And where do they get their water from? Wells. There's a lot of communities in Ohio that require local water sources for their own source of water. Yeah, you're more than welcome to, Kel, if you'd like to. Here's the link if you'd like to read it on your own. I want to see what and I'm sorry, I'll throw that link if you I can't pronounce this dude's freaking name no matter how many videos I watched. I can't pronounce this dude's name, so I'll just call him Pete. I'll be respectful. I'll call him Pete. Come on, StreamYard update for me. Thank you. This shit's being so buggy right now. There are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing. Pete Buttigieg chemicals bubbling to surface of a creek. What we just saw. He said, while this horrible situation has gotten a particularly high amount of attention, there are roughly 1,000 cases a year of a train derailing, Buttigieg says. We're going to be paying very close attention to the findings that the NTSB comes back, he said. So are we. So when anybody is able to get a hold of that, please send it to me. Because I'm going to be talking. I don't even care if I'm supposed to have a night off. This is crazy. Senator Manchin is hitting back against the Biden administration for what they see as a delayed response to the derailment. Yeah, it happened 2 weeks ago, everybody. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg said that roughly 1,000 trains derail per year, just like the one in East Palestine, Ohio last week. While this horrible... Yeah, we read that. Oh, I feel much better now, says Senator Josh Hawley, Republican from Missouri, shot back sarcastically on the Twitter video. Now, this train was subject to certain enhanced requirements because of the hazardous materials on board, Buttigieg says. But obviously, none of that prevented what happened. We're going to be paying very close attention to the findings. Range safety is something that has evolved a lot over the years, but there's clearly more than needs to be done, Buttigieg told Yahoo Finance. Area senators are hitting back against the delayed response to the derailment that caused a massive toxic chemical spill. And then it shows the video we just watched. How cool. "13 days. It's been 13 days. Insane shit. Rich live upwind, I bet. Because it's not worth it. And honestly, if you just use the double walls as a requirement, if you want to ship that kind of stuff, you need to ship it in the proper containers. I mean, we know that when we're putting leftovers in the fridge. If you don't use an airtight container, are you really going to try and eat that spaghetti 3 days later? You learn that shit when you're a kid. Google Andrew Carnegie in the South Fork flood. The rich flooded. Oh, wow. As well. Let's agree to call him Buttigieg. I don't know. Maybe somebody who owns the railways pay him, or not the railways, but the company. Maybe. Yeah. If you vote for these weak politicians, think about the response to you when you need them. Exactly. And if they don't care about their family members, where they don't make double walls, it should have been mandatory when there was discussion about either whatever happened first, the chicken or the egg, whether it was the fucking double walls were made or them transporting these chemicals this way. One of them happened first, so you should have. Okay, you're transporting these chemicals. Oh, a double wall was made. Oh, okay, it's mandatory. Or the double wall was already mandatory. Well, we better put this chemical in this one. Yep. I mean, it shouldn't take these things for those things to be mandatory. And somebody said it was cool. Somebody raised their hand and voted on it, in Washington and said, it's cool. It's totally cool. Is my mic working okay tonight? Man, I went and listened to the show after my show was done last night, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think what was going on is it was using a different microphone than the one that I was using right here. I don't know. It sounded very odd until, I don't know, the last week and a half, my camera's been disconnecting like crazy. My microphone's been disconnecting like crazy. YouTube's been acting crazy. I don't know. It's just weird shit. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I was going to try and do a regular show tonight, just hanging out, catching up. And I'm just like, what is this? Detroit now? What is going on? I think if the EPA administrator wants to stand here and tell people that the tap water is safe, by all means, they should be willing to drink it, Vance added. It reminds me of the scene in Erin Brockovich where she puts the water in front of them and says, if you think it's clean, we brought this water from the community that was affected. We do have another Erin Brockovich video coming up, and I'm going to play it here shortly. This is disgusting, Vance says. Don't forget these people. We got to keep applying pressure. And that's why I'm talking about it for another night. And I might talk about it tomorrow night. Just giving you a heads up. Representative Troy Nehls, chairman of the subcommittee on railroads, pipelines, and hazardous material, who is also in East Palestine on Thursday, called it irresponsible for Vance to encourage residents to continue to drink bottled water even though tests showed no contamination to the tap water. He said it was irresponsible. That's Representative Troy Nehls. It's irresponsible for you to be telling people to keep drinking bottled water because our tests show there's no contamination. That's irresponsible of you. What's irresponsible is your level of common sense, dude. Be fucking honest. These people really don't care about their fucking family members, do they? Irresponsible. It's irresponsible for you to say that shit in the first place, Mr. fucking Troy Nehls. On Thursday, Ohio's Democratic Senator Sherrod Brown added his voice to the calls on Governor Mike DeWine to make a disaster declaration to allow the state to request federal aid in the cleanup process, which it should have been happening very soon after the fucking thing took place. A man-made disaster of this scale, scope, and significance necessitates a response and employment of resources that are commensurate in scale and scope. Brown wrote to DeWine, but a spokesman for the GOP governor said he has already contacted Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, about the potential disaster declaration and been told the derailment doesn't qualify because Norfolk Southern is responsible for the damages, not taxpayer funds, unlike in the case of earthquakes and tornadoes. Oh, okay. So, because it's not an earthquake or a fucking tornado, because it's not an earthquake or a tornado, DeWine's. What the fuck? These poor people. These poor fucking people. They don't even have somebody telling them at the town hall to wear a mask or even somebody handing out masks. Vance, who did not sign on to Brown's call for disaster declaration, said Norfolk Southern needs to pay up for this right now, not the American taxpayer. I'll continue in a second. Let me go to chat. I'm sorry. What's up, One Bucket? How you doing? I seen you sneak in here. They'll never end that. StreamYard sucked. Or me on Twitch. We couldn't get live going. Aw. Yes. Send me your... Yeah, it'll never happen. Josie. As a coupon. Exactly. Right. My gosh. Yeah. Coupon. On Wednesday, Buttigieg pushed back against claims his department was not helping enough with the fiery derailment that forced some 5,000 residents from their homes in a thread on Twitter. The 41-year-old former mayor pointed specifically to an electronic brake rule that the Trump when all else fails, blame the previous administration, right? When all else fails, it's the previous administration. We're constrained by law in some areas of rail regulation, like the braking rule, withdrawn from the previous administration. Oh, but it was because of a law that was passed by Congress in 2015, which was from before the previous administration. He took heat earlier in the week for giving a public address on infrastructure and making no mention of East Palestine. The Norfolk Southern train derailed on February 3rd, spilling various chemicals, including vinyl chloride, a toxic chemical used to produce plastics. Officials evacuated some 5,000 residents in the town and did a controlled burn of the chemicals, but allowed them to come back days later. You know, because the air was clean. State officials insist the air and water are safe after testing, but local residents have shared concerns about the Ohio River, which provides drinking water for millions of people. I don't know why they stated only some 3,500 fish have turned up dead in the area. That was a statistic that came very soon after, and it was from a very small area. So I wouldn't be downplaying that, Mr. Article. And though the Trump administration did roll back a regulation requiring modern braking systems on some trains, the Obama administration had already hollowed out that rule so much that the modern braking systems would have not been required on the train that derailed in East Palestine. The 2015 Obama-era rule required trains carrying crude oil and some other chemicals to use electronically controlled pneumatic brakes, but left out many other hazardous chemicals after industry pressure. Hey, we donated a bunch of money to your campaign and you said you were going to help us out. Now it's time for you to pay up on that promise, buddy. Industry pressure. Then in 2017, Trump's Transportation Department under Secretary Elaine Chao rolled back the ECP brake rule even further. The Department of Transportation's Pipelines and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration said at the time that the safety benefits do not exceed the associated cost and were not economically justified. Norfolk Southern, the company that owned the train that veered off track in East Palestine, previously touted the technology as having the potential to reduce train stopping distances by as much as 60% over conventional air brake systems. But ultimately, it lobbied for the rule's repeal, telling regulators it would impose tremendous costs without providing offsetting safety benefits. I don't know. People's health? That doesn't offset your fucking balance? All right, there's a couple more things on Twitter. There's a couple more things. I'm gonna get back to chat. I'm sorry. I'm just reading these articles. I've been going on some rants here these last few nights. This is let me see something here. I'll go to chat here in a second. Here's another picture I wanted to show you guys, and then I'm going to show you the tracking of the cloud and where it went after the controlled burn. So here's this picture, everybody. Can I zoom in? There we go. That's as best as I can do for right now. Here, let me throw this down there. There we go. I'm not sure who counted it. He circled around Lost, talked shit, and just instead stared and walked off. Who was that? Oh, the video that we watched earlier where that guy was talking to him and then he just took off. Right. I'm sure. What's up, Kel?
Hey, dude.
How are you doing tonight?
Well, this makes me nervous. I'm upset.
Yeah, I'm angry.
That too.
Well, I brought this article up. Is this the one that you were talking about?
I didn't see. What's this?
You know. Let me see. Biden DOJ backing Norfolk Southern's bid to block lawsuits.
Yeah, dude. That was like a lot of reading, and essentially it's just saying that Norfolk Southern had already already has a case up to the Supreme Court, and it's about a man who was injured. One of their employees was injured,
Oh.
and Norfolk is saying, well, God, you want me to just try to read it, dude? Because memorizing
Yeah.
it is not working.
Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead.
Hey, Kib.
Have the floor.
Nah, man, you can kick me out whenever you want, dude.
No. What? No, say what? Talk to me. What's up? What? Because I haven't even read it, and I probably won't be able to. So if you know the gizzards, give it to us.
Hold on.
Spill it.
1 second.
Spill it.
Okay, so essentially it's saying that it's gone up to the Supreme Court. The odd part is that the Biden administration is actually commenting on it. And even somebody had questioned them about it, and they kind of gave a backwards federal rights versus state rights reasoning for it. Let's see.
Yeah, because
they're saying that
how
the man was bringing the case to the wrong state. And by doing that, they can keep that man that was
Really?
injured in the court system pretty much his whole life and never get a ruling. And this article is saying that all these people who have now been injured in this case could run into the same exact problem, essentially running them around in circles in our court system until the people pass away. And it
Right. Yeah, this is common practice, I'm sure. It's like the Murdaugh family, you know? They've got plenty of practice when it comes to what they do. And this is just another one of those instances where, like, it's a cost of business, right?
right, because the big business can keep this going, bouncing around from court to court, because they have the money to do that. The individual person doesn't have all that money to keep paying all those court fees.
Mm-hmm. And the legal representation that knows what to do to make sure that takes
Right.
place. Because maybe the families don't have an experienced enough attorney that knows how to play hardball with those big wigs when it comes to those high dollar businesses they got going on. And so, you know, if you've dealt with court before, a couple words can make a huge difference. Just a couple.
Josie just figured out that I was a chick.
What?
Hey, Josie. Oh, earlier she made a comment about that she didn't have a song for boys. And I that's when I figured out she thought I was a dude. But that's okay.
Oh. She said, whoops. Yeah. So, what did Biden say? I didn't even know Biden had a response. He had a response?
I'd have to scroll through it.
Let me see here. I might have something.
I'm
too.
scrolling through it on another page too.
And I'm going to show another.
Okay.
This is a video of the cloud. Let me see here. So this is, can I zoom in anymore? Hold on 1 second. I got so many things going on here. Come on. Oh, okay. Here's okay, so this is about the spy balloons. Does he talk about, Josie, does he talk about the chemical spill? Is there any of that in his response? Okay, is this full screen? Full screen, come on. Oh, I guess that is full screen. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's going into that's going into Canada. That's in Canada also. Holy crap. Holy crap. Whoa. I wish I could get a zoomed in version of this. Can you guys see it okay? He avoids tells the journals to F themselves when they ask. He avoids it.
CJ, what is this measuring?
This is here, I'll send the link to everybody in chat. This, or you can go to my Twitter actually and just click on it. It's the NOAA high split model, and this is where the cloud, the controlled burn cloud, was being tracked. Now, when you watch this, I wish I could get a zoom, like really zoomed in area. When you watch this, you see it kind of go up to New York, and then right where Niagara Falls is, and Buffalo and Syracuse, and then it goes into Canada a little bit. And then what's crazy after that is all of a sudden that cloud starts to turn this way. It like it's shaped like this, right? From Ohio to New York, and then it all of a sudden fucking starts turning like this and touches the bottom of Pennsylvania instead of the top, and then starts to head outward. Watch this. I wish I could. I hope you guys can see it okay. See, it kind of does like a curl, swoop, flies out. Then all of a sudden it comes back. There's a little chunk that goes up, 2 chunks that go into Canada. Look at how big that thing is right there. So it grows to that big. Then it starts to come down. It's starting to come down like this. Little chunks go off up into Canada. Then it starts to cover the middle of Pennsylvania. Is it going to play? And then now it splits, comes back. Now it's covering New York and Pennsylvania. Now it's hitting Virginia, West Virginia, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, North Carolina. No, not North Carolina. That's Virginia. And then it comes back around and then back up and then shoots across Lake Erie and goes into Canada again. So now Lake Erie's contaminated. Lake Michigan. Yeah, I wonder if I can find something on YouTube where I can slow the speed down and right over Niagara Falls. Yeah, it's in Canada too. Oh, here, whoops, sorry. Let me do this so you can see the rest of it. I didn't realize we were covering up some of it. I'm just going to let it loop a couple times.
Oh, now you can see how far south it went too. That's
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
horrible.
didn't realize we were covering it. I was actually watching it, so I didn't even notice the And I'm not even thinking it like separates. I'm thinking it just had to have had Unless there's just some weird weather patterns going on right up there where it just separates it, brings it back together. Plus it's mixing with moisture. And I heard those chemicals take on a different structure when it's attached to moisture as well. And then we had that rainwater test that Allison's friend sent us. And that's the rainwater that's over that area where it was tested from. What was it? 3 elevated levels? And this is not treated water or anything. This is water that came from the sky. Yeah. Virginia, West Virginia. Then it swoops back up over Cleveland, Akron, right over Cleveland, Akron, into Lake Erie, back up into Canada. So Pennsylvania and New York not only got one swoop, they got a few. A couple in the beginning and then one big one after the swoop back around. And then it started to dissipate. Wow. If you turn your phone side. Oh, it's not my phone. It's oh, for them. Sorry. Yeah, and take a screenshot too. You can take the screenshots also. I don't know. I'm going to see if I can find a video that is a lot more zoomed in because I think a zoomed in version of it would tell the tale a lot more than this little thing on my screen. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and find something that's zoomed in. If I can't come across it tonight, I'm definitely going to try and get it for the next show. The rain droplets will encapsulate the particles and bring them to the ground exactly. And then it's check your eggs. It's ridiculous. And this says more than a dozen trains have derailed in the U.S. this year.
This year, it's only been a month and a half.
Right. Right.
Whoa. Wait.
Yeah. This was released 2 days ago. What's up? Go ahead, Co.
No, I thought I already said something. Oh, dude, am I like muting it and unmuting it at the wrong time?
Oh, you probably were, because I haven't heard you really talk. Maybe you are. Maybe you are, because I'm like, oh.
No, dude, I said the most profound shit too.
Here, you're sitting. Aw.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. No, you didn't. Well, you could have just pretended. You could have just said, "Fuck yeah!" It was. Oh,
Dude,
but
it
I
was
could never
awesome. You should have
reduplicate
written
that
it
effect.
down.
Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Damn. Yeah, more than a dozen trains have derailed in the U.S. this year. This video shows massive fire in Ohio after train derailment. There's no sound to it.
Make sound. Make fire sounds. No, it's too sad.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
And what are they doing? They're sitting there watching it? What is this? Oh, it's
Can
hard
you
to
hear
see.
like a lady talking?
Yeah, kinda.
And she's explaining what she's
There it
saying.
is. Oh my gosh. That had to be so scary. Yeah, I could barely understand what they were saying. Let me see here. One of more than a dozen train derailments reported in the U.S. this year, only 1.5 months in. Like you just said, Coach. More than a dozen. Another wreck on January 19th also occurred in Ohio, with several train cars stretching over miles derailed between the towns of Trinway and Adams Mill. It was considerably less destructive than the one in East Palestine, as the cars were empty, though cleanup efforts were projected to last for a week. Huh?
I wonder where they're going to take it all
A
to.
representational image? I don't know. The landfill? Who knows?
Yeah, who are the lucky people that live by the landfill?
Oh, and the first responders that weren't even told to wear proper equipment out there, breathing that in, letting it land all over their pores. Let's see. The next one occurred. The first took place January 9th. So this is going through all of them that have happened this year. Most of the reported crashes this year, 3 in total, occurred in South Carolina, though one has not been fully confirmed. The first took place January 9th in Lake City, with 20 cars derailing after the train struck an empty car left on the tracks. Are you fucking serious? An empty car was left on the... No injuries or deaths were reported. Huh?
Oops.
Yeah.
Just left the car
They
on the
just...
track.
Sorry, we left an empty one on the track. Like we
My
were
bad.
doing this on purpose. The next one occurred near Loris, January 21st, involving multiple cars carrying rocks and gravel tipping, which tipped over. The third incident, reportedly near Enori on Monday, remains a developing story with few details available. 2 other crashes took place in remote parts of California, with at least one reportedly carrying grain. No details emerged about the other train's cargo, though officials did confirm that the derailment did not result in any leaks. A pair of derailments notably occurred in major metro areas. On February 1st, a train fell off the tracks in Detroit, Michigan. So this is the second time a derailment has happened in Detroit in a month? Not even a month. Dude, February 1st. And it's only the, 16th, 17th, 16th? So in 2 weeks, there's been 2 derailments in Detroit, leaving several cars hanging over the side of a bridge. The other occurred in Philadelphia, involving a passenger train. The remaining derailments that Newsweek could verify took place in Alabama, Alaska, Louisiana, and Texas. The Bureau of Transportation Statistics found that 54,539 trail derailments occurred in the United States from 1990 to 2021. 54,000 in 31 years. An average of 1,704 per year. And it's okay to go ahead and transport these chemicals without the double walls when there's 1,700 derailments a year? A yearly average of 4 a year of derailments resulting in deaths. 54,000 a year, or in 30 years.
Math.
I don't get it.
It's math.
If it happens that much and it's that common, Why is it not common? I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but we watched the video where the dude said a double wall prevents a leak during a derailment. I don't know. Bryden answers
Hey,
0
CJ.
questions from press. What's up?
Josie's asking if she posts a link if we can
Oh,
play
I'm
it.
sorry.
Or
Yeah,
do
let
we
me see
does
here.
she have to email it?
Let me see. I can find his. Sorry, here. Let me go to. I get so sucked into these articles, it's hard to pay attention to chat. I apologize. They act like, oh, well, no
Okay.
big deal. Exactly. SRB, they just want you to get electrocuted. And see, they shut off their AC in summer because people had smart thermostats. Oh, yeah, I know. They were doing that on, yeah. Thanks, Bruin. I know where Lori's, South Carolina is. Yep, there was one there. Something else I wasn't aware of. The controlled burn lasted all weekend. Nope. The next day, we saw the train cars that were all burned up, but they were still smoking and on fire. Let me see. You can send a link to Discord, Gmail, Twitter. The guy who owns the Fox posted a TikTok where they got the rails back up and running. Yeah. Yeah, we showed that. It looks so nice too, that new track that they put down. Unfortunately, it was, the rail cars that had those chemicals in were just kind of shoved off to each side. The precautions for the hauling. Right. It's a life safety issue. It's not but when it happens, just like, their response to this, if the lawsuits happen, we'll deal with it then. That's what they're saying. The billions that they profit from transporting these chemicals, what's a couple $100 million for lawsuits? They
Dude, that
already
was
put
the
that in their
cutest
budget.
chipmunk. Did you see that chipmunk
Where? No, where? What?
on her
Oh,
icon?
one
It
bucket?
was so cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Let me see. Email it.
Sorry, man. I got distracted by a squirrel.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Where is... Okay, I got so many tabs. Wait, we got Discord here. Is it in Discord, Josie? Let me see. I got so many damn tabs open here. Here, let me close out this one. We'll keep that one up. We'll get rid of this one. Okay. This really feels like a slap in the face. All right, let me open this up and share it. Fox Freak on TikTok. Thank you, Josie. Both are short clips. Okay, I'll play the Biden one after this one.
Albert and I also served together on a federal task force known as the Doomsday. And it looks like I'll be back.
How many tankers this one pass?
Wow.
Someone who had to go to the United States had Sunday first thing.
Yeah, so when you see those, you never know.
The sooner the better. Thanks, Linda. Maybe Fabian.
And if I'm coming up to a fucking train and them arms start coming down, I might just turn right the fuck around. Seriously. That shit. All right, let me go to this other one. This is the Biden video. Let's see. Let me click on this.
Speaking with President Xi, and I hope we're going to get.
Okay. Come on, quit bugging. Twitter. Okay, what audio feed is going here? 1 second, I'm sorry. Something's bugging here.
Shh, don't wake him. He's
Because
dreaming.
it's playing on Twitter still, so or on my Discord still. So I'm like, where's this audio coming from? Okay. Let me get back to chat real quick and then I'll play this. If I leave my job around 7:20 a.m., I'm always get stopped by a train. Yeah, man. Go through that area 10 minutes earlier and stay safe. The chipmunk, I took the picture and enjoy forest preserves and nature. Aw.
Aw.
Yeah, we heard about all the animals in the beginning of the show here. Some of the videos that are on Twitter. It's Hey Dre, thanks for hopping in. The Biden shit show. All right. Let me get to the Biden one. These people need to understand that they can call for the impeachment of their governor if they have a certain percentage of the state willing to do so. He's an ineffective hack, it seems. And that's, I had Kevin Kraft on last night. What's up, dude? And SRB, and they were both, kind of giving me the down low on DeWine. I do my best to not be a minute late clocking out. Hey, call me, Dre. All right, let me play this video with Biden here. And then I'm going to see what else is breaking, if there's any updates on any of these chemical disasters here.
All we know and all we learn. And I expect to be speaking with President Xi, and I hope we're going to get to the bottom of this. But I make no apologies for taking down that balloon. Thank you very much.
Sir, the question wasn't. There's been criticism. There's been criticism that this wasn't. There's been criticism that this. Sir, Mr. President, there has been criticism.
Give me a break,
Mr. President, there has been criticism that this was an overreaction that was done because of political pressure.
You come my office and ask the question. We have more political people.
Mr. President, why have you chosen Poland for your
Call him a
trip to mark
dog-faced pony
anniversary of
soldier.
the war? And what's your message?
Look at that. He doesn't just walk off like the other presidents would. He stops, turns, and grins. What the fuck is that? Hold on a minute.
Dude, I talked over that last part accidentally.
Huh?
Play it again because I talked over it accidentally.
Okay.
All we know and all we learn. And I expect to be speaking with President Xi, and I hope we're going to get to the bottom of this. But I make no apologies for taking down that balloon. Thank you very much.
Why have you chosen Poland for your
Sir, the question wasn't. There's been criticism. There's been criticism that this wasn't. There's been criticism that this. Sir, Mr. President, there has been criticism. Mr. President, there has been criticism that this was an overreaction that was done because of political pressure.
You come my office and ask the question. We have more polite people.
Mr. President, why have you chosen Poland for your trip to mark anniversary of the war? And what's your message?
What are you speaking to President Xi, Mr. President?
What the hell was that? He's just gonna stand there?
Well, to be fair, I mean, look, he's 80 years old. All those voices were probably scary, and he couldn't tell one from another, and he had to get off stage.
Yeah, you know, like when you go to like handshake somebody that isn't there kind of shit. Turn around. Oh, I'm still gonna shake air, but nobody's there. Whoops.
He gets
Yeah.
lost in the
People search
flags.
right. Too many colors. Call my office when you're more polite. He's establishment. Smug motherfucker. Yeah, it's like just walk off, dude. Like if that's what you're gonna do, like every other president does, we get it. Otherwise, they're gonna keep asking, and you know, and you have to walk off at some point. So I never consider that rude when they walk off. This right here, fucking stand there for a minute and actually hear what they're saying.
Why
and
have you
then just
chosen
keep
Poland
walking.
for your trip to mark anniversary of the war? And what's your message? What?
Whether you're speaking to President Xi, Mr. President.
My lord, nobody gives a shit.
Nobody listened to the question and then smiled about it and walked away a little further and then paused again.
Yeah, and they had the
That's
grin.
insulting.
They had to
Yeah.
grin the whole way out. Very insulting. You not only listened to it, you laughed when they asked the question and then walked off.
Question when you have more polite people.
Mr. President, why have you chosen Poland for your trip to mark anniversary of the war? And what's your message? What?
I don't think he could understand the accent.
Probably. It
He was
had to be it.
Yeah, all I could understand really was something about children, anniversary of war, and what's your
Yeah.
message. So
It was about the Ukraine and it had something to do with Poland.
Mm.
You know. But still, that's these people's jobs. You don't
Right.
need to that was almost like a ridicule to me.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah,
just
Josie, he did a dance move and then he left.
Yeah. All right, let me see what else I got on Twitter here because I did save a whole bunch of stuff. There is another video that came out. Let me get to that too while I look through Twitter here. There's something that just came out. That JD Vance guy, the guy that took the stick and scraped that pond or that little creek, he's on Fox. He was on Fox News about a half an hour ago. So this is him.
After ignoring the disaster in East Palestine, Ohio, for nearly 2 weeks, the Biden administration now says the area is totally safe, just as long as you're wearing a hazmat suit.
Right.
There yet, as long as you don't actually visit it. All the dead fish and the chlorine smell in the air, whatever, totally normal. Your nose does not. JD Vance is a senator from the state of Ohio. He's also from Ohio, and he had some questions. So he went to East Palestine, which seemed like a pretty simple step. A lot of people can't manage it, but he did. And after visiting, he challenged the EPA administrator, Michael Regan, to drink a glass of tap water in the town of East Palestine. Weirdly, Michael Regan has not accepted that challenge. We are grateful to have Senator JD Vance of Ohio with us tonight. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. I notice a lot of the people who are reassuring us about how fine East Palestine is don't really want to go there. In fact, they avoided going there. Do you think Regan will drink the tap water?
I don't suspect that he will, Tucker. And a lot of residents, unfortunately, are not comfortable drinking the tap water either. And it's easy not to see why, Tucker. The thing that I away from this today is that one, residents are very, very scared, obviously, but they are not getting answers from their authorities about exactly what's going on, what's being done to clean up the disaster. Tucker, the railroad has completely failed to clean up the toxic soil that's leaking into the riverways, into the waterways, and into the groundwater. So there's this question about testing and whether we're testing the water enough. The question that I have is, why haven't they cleaned up the contaminated soil that's going to eventually contaminate the groundwater no matter what?
So you've been criticized for suggesting that maybe people who are still in East Palestine drink bottled water, and that's scaremongering because apparently.
And that's this gentleman is the one. Come
Why
on,
would someone
YouTube.
criticize you?
It's getting ridiculous anymore. This is the guy that Republican representative called irresponsible for telling the community that they need to keep drinking bottled water, but he's labeled as irresponsible because the tests come back safe. So I just wanted to remind you guys of that as well.
And that's scaremongering because apparently we should just follow the. But why would someone criticize you for counseling caution?
You know, I have no idea, Tucker. I think that there's a complete refusal to deal with the fact that a lot of residents are freaked out on the ground. Obviously, people want to get back to their. Also want to know that they're safe. The thing that's very clear, if you talk to the EPA, if you talk to the CDC, they cannot tell us what a clean threshold is for the water. So on the one hand, you have to measure the water to know how much of this contaminant is in it. On the other hand, you have to know at what level the contaminant is low enough that it's clean water, that it's safe for humans to drink.
So they can't
We've
even
been
tell you?
completely unable to get a good answer from any federal authorities to that question. And if I can't get that answer, and I'm a United States Senator, that suggests that the people of East Palestine who want to be cautious have every right to do it. The simple fact is, Tucker, that unless we go in and study the effect of violence, we're never going to be able to say with confidence what is going to happen to the residents of East Palestine. Want to rebuild want to get back to normal life, but they can't do it unless the government does its job.
That's right. By the way, if you say you're an environmentalist and care about the environment, you should care about the air and the soil and the water. You know, climate is not the environment, I would say. J.D. Vance, Senator from...
And the people that live in the communities too, because people's lives are a hell of a lot more important on a balance sheet when it comes to, you know, weighing out the safety benefits compared to the costs. And that's exactly right, Josie. Rinse and repeat. That's what it is. There is an Aaron Brockovich video that I did mention earlier, and I wanted to play that. This came out from 6 hours ago. She says she's never seen anything like this.
Aaron, good to see you again. It has been a minute or two, but welcome back to our program. I saw you in another show. You said if you feel it, it's you, it's real. Don't be talked out of it, more or less a paraphrase of what you had to say. Well, what I'm hearing from a lot of people in East Palestine is that they have fear because they don't know what's out there. They don't know what's in the air. They don't know what's in the water. Reports of headaches 24 hours a day. How do you read this based on the experience you've had on this for decades now?
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in the 30 years that I've done this. The lack of information, the lack of transparency, the confusion, not actually seeing any data sets. What are you looking for? What are you not looking for? I mean, my gosh, February 3rd, we have a large train derailment that's carrying toxic chemicals. By the 4th to the 5th of February, these people are being evacuated, shelter in place. It's danger. They don't know where to go. They're confused. People are emailing me what's happening. And then it's all clear. It's safe to come home. Oh, on second thought, you can be here. The water's contaminated. Now the water's not contaminated. It's like, are you kidding? I feel so much for this community. And even watching before I came on, you know, some of the residents, they've been reporting since this happened.
Exactly,
their lips are turning blue, their tongues are tingling, their sore throats, projectile vomiting, their cats are dead, the birds are dead, the fish are dead. What is happening out there? I have never seen anything like this in my entire career, where there's no information, almost a shutdown, and it is frustrating, it's wrong, and I really am concerned about that community and the answers they're not getting. And if we don't give it to them, they're never going to be able to protect their health.
Right.
So there is some information that's going out there in Ohio that's
And that's why it's important for neighbors to be in contact with neighbors, the communities to be in contact with each other, because they're not going to get information. The stuff isn't going to be collaborated. It's not going to be talked about. It's not going to be discussed. It's not going to be discovered if these people don't talk to each other, because we're not going to get any answers from these politicians. We're not going to get any answers from these officials. The only answers we're going to get are from our neighbors and people that live next to our neighbors. And so we need to spread this word. We need to talk about this stuff. We need to talk about the shit that's happening in another part of the country, because it might be something that they need to look out for in East Palestine. There's might be something in East Palestine that Detroit or Arizona or Texas or California needs to look out for. We got to stay in contact. I don't care if these people ain't going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it, and we're not going to shut up. And the shit just needs to be spread. That's why, the last couple days I've been promoting these videos as much as I can. I've been trying to promote this little short highlight video as much as I can, because the shit's not being talked about. I mean, hell, I went through my whole subscription feed, and out of all of the stuff, the rumors and the speculation videos and all of this stuff, and I honestly got 7 videos in the last 24 hours. 7 videos when it came to this topic. And it took me literally an hour and 45 minutes to go through all the other videos. So if that doesn't tell you how much this isn't being talked about, isn't being reported, it's true. We need to keep sharing this, please. Thank you, Cherry. Is there anything you'd like to add, Kel, before I hit play? I know I've been kind of running through a couple videos real quick, just trying to get to a couple of things.
How much longer are you going to cover Ohio? Were you going to talk about Texas and Arizona?
Well, I don't know about tonight. It's going to have to be in another show. I mean, there's so many. I don't know. I might end up doing another show about this tomorrow night, honestly, and it might end up being a whole week of this topic. Because we haven't even got into the financials. We haven't even got into the stockholders. We haven't even got into the SDS breakdown of the chemicals. There's a lot of stuff we haven't gone into. And if these derailments and these instances are going to keep happening, then I'm sure we're going to be, I'm going to be talking about Texas and Arizona and all these other places. I would love to be able to give those other communities more time as well. I don't have the resources or the information for those. So if you guys would like to send me, videos work the best. And I do enjoy the articles as well, because they have a lot of information that we might not get to see in a video because it's somebody else's filtration. But videos also tell a great story because they have the pictures behind it as well. So if you guys, have anything on any of these other chemical disasters, please send it to me, and we'll definitely go through it in future shows. It's probably just, honestly, it's probably going to be a whole week of this topic. And, I am focusing on Ohio a little more just because I have family there. I have friends there that live in the area that's affected, firsthand. And then, with you go to this, let me get to this map here. You go to this map and you see the areas that are affected. Where is it? I think it's on, there it is. You go to this map right here, and if you live in this area too, I mean, this is just from the Ohio chemical disaster. and what has affected all of this area. Yesterday, when we looked up this map, it only showed a small region here in the Midwest Northeast split section there of the Ohio Valley, Appalachian Trail. Now it's extending all the way up into Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Colorado.
This is like a beautiful example of how everything's connected. Something's happening in Ohio, and it can go all the way down there into Montana.
Yep.
We're all connected. And I just sounded like a hippie, dude.
No, it's the damn truth though, and that it's even more of a reason why there should be not recommendations, but protocols when it comes to these chemicals being transported. If one chemical disaster that happens in a town of 4,761 people, if that spill can affect all, and this doesn't even show Canada, people. This don't even show who got affected up in Canada.
Good night, Kid Kitty.
Good night, Kib Kitty. Thank you for hopping in and hanging out. I mean, and we saw that thing go right over Lake Michigan. We saw it go right over Lake Erie, over Toronto, Quebec.
And then it made like a weird hook fan motion and came back all around and hit Ohio again.
Yep. And I'll play that too. Is it playing or here we go? Sorry, I thought it was playing. And I'll let this loop for a second so you can see this crazy ass little swoop around, disappear, reappear, blob, split blobs, reform. And I'll try and get a zoomed in version of for another show coming up. Thank you. I appreciate it, Kib Kitty. And who knows what happened to the one that went up in Canada. It's like a dial on a clock. It just kind of swoops around, stops, then grows again. And look at how big it gets over Lake Erie. Now think about what an EM. Oh yeah, when that first spy balloon came around and I started talking about it, that's the first thing I thought of was EMP. Because I know how much they have a desire to use those. And a balloon is perfect for that. High altitude, can shoot straight down, and can hit multiple. I mean, it can float along the sky and zap, zap, zap. I even showed a video on what an EMP is and what it can do. And I didn't get in trouble, thank God, because I was nervous about that one. Showing that video. All right, I'm going to get back to this video here real quick with Aaron Brockovich.
There in Ohio, the state's EPA said the latest.
And I really am concerned about that community and not getting. And if we don't give it to them, they're never going to be able to protect their health and welfare.
So there is some information that's going out there in Ohio. The state's EPA said the latest tests show 5 wells that supply the village's drinking water are free from contaminants. So that's what they're being told. And the governor said yesterday it makes you more comfortable. Drink water from a bottle.
This is ridiculous. Don't even say anything instead of saying some shit like that.
Very confusing message. So what I would like to see is the state EPA produce and put online some of those test results. What are you looking for? And the reason I bring this up, we talked about vinyl chloride. I'm concerned about a chemical called butyl acrylate, which is the second chemical that they talk about that happened in that spill. What concerns me about that is they have detected it outside of the containment zone, but that chemical has an additive, and that additive is benzene. I'd like to ask them the question, are you looking for benzene? What are you prepared for? What are you finding? And what are those actual levels? We have yet to see that. So again, this continues to be an unfolding story full of nothing but contradictions. And I think that's horrible to do that to these people who don't know the outcome of their health and safety.
Yeah, last thing here, just a few seconds left. What in hindsight, I know that's 2020. What would you have done? What should officials have done? Once they cleared them out, do you keep them out for a sustained period of time? Would that have been the appropriate answer?
I think, unfortunately, with this like this, and when you have an evacuation, it is upon them before they ever let the community back to be absolutely certain it's safe, to clear all the land, look at the soil, look at the water, look air. We still have fallout fire, and that is done. And in a situation like this, it's always better to step up front and say, I'm not certain,
Right.
but in an abundance of caution for your safety,
Right.
I know you're not going to like this. We need you to stay out of the area
Right.
a little bit longer. So we're just not getting the information that's giving any of us assurance that it was, in fact, or is at this moment safe.
So
Exactly. They're just being lied to. When it comes to the lasers in Hawaii, I believe they said it was for weather purposes. Now, I don't know what kind of weather purpose those lasers are for. And I'm not a scientist, so I couldn't really tell you, but I've never seen anything like it before, so I don't know. I don't know why a fucking weather balloon would be shooting lasers down at the ground for weather purposes when you're I don't know. What are you detecting?
Some sort of measurements.
Huh?
Well, lasers are used to take measurements, but I don't know if you'd actually see them.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Like a radar, you don't see the fucking radar flying around in the sky when when it's looking for your rain,
Exactly.
for your weatherman,
Dude, that'd be
Like-
really messed up.
like
If we saw
don't-
that, that'd be messed up. If we were like
You don't see no
bats.
damn green laser flying around, right? Or like you're at an airport or something. It's like no. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even think they
Okay, but-
know.
Julia Roberts, she brought up some really good points. Because they'll say, we tested the water. Well, what did you test the water for? Which chemicals?
Mm-hmm.
If you test the ground, they're saying the drinking water is safe because they tested the 5 wells that are used for the drinking water. Okay, but they said for the private wells, none of the private wells have been tested yet. They said drink bottled water from a private well. Also because the private wells are shorter, not as deep. Right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
if it's coming down from the surface, if the chemicals are coming down from the surface, how long is it going to take for it to reach the aquifers? How do you even predict that? That's like that's mathematics. It's like figuring out how permeable is the ground, what is the ground made out of, and how long is it going to take to get to the groundwater. But these guys can be like, oh, we tested it this week and everything's fine, bye.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
might not even reach it for a month, who knows.
right. Or like them
Cool.
test in the air. Like, duh.
Exactly.
Like,
Okay, what if it's not in the air, but it's on everything in your house, and so as soon as you touch something, you just kicked it back up. Or every time a train goes by, it's blowing it up again.
Or you scrape a stick in a creek
Mm-hmm.
and the shit comes out. Like,
Exactly.
it's like, what's up, Ohana? Thank you for hopping in. Yeah, exactly. downplaying like we were watching the press conference yesterday in yesterday's show, and the guy with the bow tie was like, I'm absolutely confident. What are you confident in? What's up, Nitro Savage? How you doing tonight, buddy? On Twitch?
CJ, that was theater. That was all theatrics. They bring out this tall, skinny scientist with a big white jacket on so he looks official, and he's got a bow tie on, and he's got nerdy glasses, and oh, look at me, pay attention, I look like
Right.
Bill Nye. Don't you trust me? Trust what
Yeah.
I'm gonna say to you.
I
That
got
was all theater.
I got a coat with stitching on it. It has my name.
Look at that. There's a pen in it. There's a pen
Yeah.
in my pocket.
It's like
Check it out.
It's like when the tobacco companies back in the 80s were like, the 70s and the 80s when they all, all these people were like trying to have lawsuits against them for cancer and shit, and they had all these medical professionals telling her it's completely safe to smoke. There's no studies proving that cancer is linked to cigarettes. They had all these, medical people, with all these reports downplaying everything and how everything was safe and everything. It's just hearsay. That's bad press. No, they're going to hire their own fucking people to go up there to say, no, everything is fine. They're not going to deal with it until the lawsuit comes, and that's if it even comes. And that's even if it can be proven, because
Well,
you
there's
can
already
file
been
a
5
lawsuit.
lawsuits. There's already 5 class action lawsuits filed as of today.
Hopefully many more to come.
Oh, absolutely.
The whole community and the surrounding communities. These neighbors got to talk to each other. That's
There's
the only
probably
way.
some sort of advocacy groups that will help take it on too. There will be powerful lawyers that are willing to try to go up against the big companies.
I hope.
I hope so too.
But unfortunately, if there's what'd they say, 1,700 on average derailments a year, that's a lot of lawyers that are going to have to step up and fight. That's just a derailment. Each derailment has how many families associated with that derailment that need representation? I hope.
Yeah, but
that
they
can
don't all
help.
get their own individual lawyer. I think they go in the
Class action.
would be like
Yeah.
the whole town could be, part of one class action. That's my understanding of it. What do you guys think?
I better. But you're going to have 1,700 class action lawsuits going on.
Mm.
And that's if they don't get to the people already and, like they said, hand them $1,000 check because they're desperate right now because they had to leave their home quickly or whatever. So they're going to be desperate for that $1,000, and they're just going to be like, you know what? I'll survive now and think about later. When they're handed a situation where they have to decide between the lesser of two evils for their health and safety and their future.
Well, you want me to read what I found?
not cool.
What the company's done so far?
Yeah, go ahead.
So far, they set up a fund with 1.5 million for direct financial assistance, which they paid out to more than 1,000 families and businesses to cover the cost of evacuation. They reimbursed the East Palestine Fire Department $220,000 to replace their breathing apparatuses and provide 100 air purifiers. Then they created on Tuesday a $1 million fund to help the community. Well, here it goes. It's a community of 4,700 people. So they created a $1 million fund to cover costs. That's only $212 per person. So
wow.
That's what they've done so far.
Well, they're raking in billions. They can
Mhm.
give you what was it again?
Oh, CJ.
200?
Well, right now, as it would stand, if everybody made a claim on that $1 million fund, that everyone would get $212.
Wow.
I sent you a newspaper, don't have to bring it up, but essentially what it said is this company was set up to making record profits. And
Yeah.
that was dated January of this year. They were set up, they were already like predicting record profits. So
Let me see here. I did see that. Where?
Oh, you don't
Yep,
need to bring
here
it
it
up
is.
though, dude. I already told you.
No, I'm gonna do it right here.
Oh yeah, picture of my screen at work.
Yep. Why Norfolk Southern is poised to beat earnings estimates again. This company, which is in the Zax transportation rail industry, shows potential for another earnings beat. For the most recent quarter, Norfolk Southern was expected to post earnings of $3.64 per share, but it reported $4.10 per share instead, representing a surprise of 12.64%. For the previous quarter, the consensus estimate was $3.44 per share, while it actually produced $3.45 per share, a surprise of 0.29. And we didn't get to it tonight, but tomorrow I'm gonna get in the NTSB, or I'm sorry, the EPA gave an update on the Ohio train derailment toxic spill today. It's a 36-minute update, and we'll get into that tomorrow. We won't have enough
CJ,
time to
did you
do it
see
tonight.
what Ohana just posted? That was really
No, I
interesting.
did not. Let me see here. The
Check that out.
CDC just updated the toxicology profile for vinyl chloride last month for the first. Whoa.
Interesting coincidence.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot. I was even talking to somebody at work today. I was like, isn't it crazy? Like all of these different things going on right now. I said, up until a few weeks ago, I couldn't get off true crime, and now it's like there's these things happening one after another, and it's like it's hard for me even to get back to true crime because all this stuff taking place right here, and this stuff's more important to me. I mean, I love my true crime talk, but this stuff right here, this is so many communities, so many people affected, so many, not just us, wildlife. The ground we feed off of and live off of, and eventually it's gonna become part
Dude,
of
are
us.
you gonna start going Lion King and singing Circle of Life?
Hey, it is true
ground
crime.
we're on and the blades of grass, and we're all part of it, man.
It is. It is.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's just so many people. Yeah, I guess it is true crime, because really it is a crime of its own. Like, it's true, and it is a crime of its own. It's a crime of our politicians and our officials and these business owners against people that are trusting that they're putting our safety in mind when it comes to them and how they operate their business. And unfortunately, it just costs too damn much to put these chemicals in a double wall car. Josie, Ohio is very corrupt. Yeah, I used to live there for a long time, and yeah, it's always been a little sketchy over there. Yeah, so we'll get into this EPA update tomorrow. A lot of the information. Ooh, that's an interesting thought there. Increase profit for railway, but the tracks need updated to help prevent derailments. Regular people, and I'm wondering if it has to do with short staffing too. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. And another thing I need to get into is the fact that this rail car that did create this derailment in East Palestine was already had issues before, and the guy said it was cool, just let it run. So I'm gonna get into that some more tomorrow. We're just gonna get into whatever we can get into. We're never taking breaks, getting into it hard, and I'm just gonna try and get through all the information I can get through until there's no more information. And we're just gonna give this everything that we can give it, and I'll start bringing in the other communities tomorrow night too. I was gonna include them in tonight's show, but there's just so much to get into. But I'm definitely gonna on the next show. I'm definitely gonna go over those few. So if you guys have any video links or anything like that, I do have a few articles. If you want to send me some articles too, and then send me some videos if you can. That way we can actually have some pictures of all this stuff, because an article can say one thing, but a picture and a video can tell a lot more. And so I'm going to try and have those for tomorrow. It's Friday night, so it's going to be a late stream, and we might even pull a 5-hour stream tomorrow. So,
See,
and Keld, if you'd like to be
Kevin
back on
says,
tomorrow, you're more than welcome.
thank you. Kevin says, don't forget all the mold in that shop, CJ. What is that? What is he talking about? Is that
Oh,
secret language between the two of you?
No, that's not secret language. There was where I used to work, and I used to do some detailing. There was actually mold that was growing in the walls growing on the walls because of all the moisture that took place in the garage, because you're not only washing the vehicles, you have had a certain section where they were getting washed, and then another section where they were getting detailed, and then just different sections and stuff. And we even brought that up, as employees. We came to the employer and we even brought that up, and it was just dismissed and downplayed. And it's like, yo, no, this ain't cool. They didn't appreciate that, of course. But yeah, I know what you're
Did you guys
talking
start
about.
getting sick?
There was people getting sick. Yeah, that's when we started really paying attention to it, because a lot of the times it was
man.
during the winter time when the garage doors were closed.
And you got
It
the
wasn't
heaters on.
right.
Yeah.
It was no thing, in the winter time you had to have the doors closed. It was no thing in the summer when you had the doors open and you got the breeze blowing through the whole garage, and
Right.
the fresh air is already coming. It's when the doors had to be shut because of the cold weather, and then you're constantly not only adding moisture to that mold with the doors shut, but then it's still circulating all of the air particles and such. And so we all kind of started figuring it out on our own, and we're like, yeah, look at this. We started peeking behind curtains and things like that, and we're like, holy crap, somebody even got bit by a brown recluse there one time.
Ew.
Yeah,
It's
like,
messed up, dude.
yeah, it's and I appreciate you, Josie. Really, I appreciate all you guys, because you guys help me keep this thing going too. I wouldn't even have the amount of information that I have to share with people if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate you guys more than you appreciate me, trust me. And yeah, Keld, if you want to hop on tomorrow, you're more than welcome. Anybody else is more than welcome to hop on an open panel. It's going to be a Friday night show. We're going to go late, like I always do on Friday nights, and we're going to get into all of this that we can get into. So I'm, yeah, right. Sometimes, sometimes heat. Yeah, he says it's why he left. But yeah, we'll get into this more tomorrow night. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Thank you, Kelp, for being up here tonight. I appreciate it. It's always nice having another voice up here with me. And
You're welcome, CJ. Thanks for letting me on.
No, thank you. And so I'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We're going to get into the EPA update. We're going to get into whatever updates are coming out. I'd like to get into some of these other cases, maybe not at the beginning of the night, but at the end of the night. And hopefully, there was somebody that's in Ohio that lives in the community that's affected, and I'm gonna be having a phone call with them. I don't know if I could. I'm gonna see if I can try and reach out again tomorrow. I tried to see if I could get maybe a certain time to give them a call. I wasn't able to get any information back, but hopefully tomorrow night we can get that phone call on here too, and I can do a live call, and we can talk to this person and see what kind of details is going on, give us firsthand knowledge of what they're feeling, what's going on, what they're experiencing, what their community's going through. How are they going day by day? Were they aware of this when it first took place in East Palestine, or when did they first know about it? There's just a lot of questions I would like to ask, and I know that they have a lot of information, I'm sure, because you know uh, there's something that they have to say, and I want to make sure that I make that available at their comfort. So if they're watching the show or they see it on replay, or if anybody knows, just reach out to me. I would love to be able to however long you would like to have a conversation, I would like to be able to sit down and chat with you, because I feel like the information coming from you is a hell of a lot more valuable and a hell of a lot more informative than the information that we're going to get from any of these organizations. So the neighbor to neighbor to neighbor, that stuff is the most beneficial, and that's how we're going to get the truth and get the truth spread around and get this talked about the right way, so these people don't get railroaded, these people don't get shoved off to the side, these people don't get downplayed. They get the they get taken care of like they're supposed to, just like any of us would if it was our family member that was living in that town. You're going to do whatever you can. So I want to thank you guys so much. I appreciate your help. I hope you have a peaceful and positive evening. We'll see you tomorrow. And we're going to have a long show. So I appreciate you guys, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody.